Thank you for joining us for our final segment, and we have with us on set the representatives from UWI, no strangers to our set. We have the head of the UWI Open Campus Belize, Miss Jane Bennett. How are you this morning? And we have with her as well the site technician for the UWI Open Campus, Mr. Dwight Gabb.
Good morning.
Good morning, and Happy New Year. I know
Yes.
it's not totally new
You can
anymore,
still
but
say it.
I am still saying Happy
Yeah.
New Year when I talk to people for the first time for the year. That is still rather young.
Of course, we're
get away with
only
that.
2 weeks in, you know.
You know, yeah.
It feels like we've been really prolonging 2019 so far, but it's only the 15th of January. And so that's why this conversation is still so very important. We've talked about many different ways people can change or make changes in 2019. And this has always been one that we help to promote. Educate yourself more in something new or in a continued field of study. Ms. Jane, tell me what things are like at UWI Open Campus right now.
It's a new year, and all perspectives are new. That's all I will say.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, before I go anywhere else, to say thank you always for having you here. It's an opportunity to speak with old, but not so old, but familiar friends, but also to our nation, for people who need to be reminded that UWI is here and we're here for you. But I wanted to first start with a clarification.
Yeah.
You said education, and when people hear that, they see a classroom. And I want to say that education happens wherever people are. And I was actually saying to Dwight before we came on set that, you know, education has always existed.
Yeah.
That's how people learn. It's hands-on. It's you teach yourself certain things. So then why bother with the classroom? It's because that knowledge base then has to be enriched in a certain format. And I think if people recognize that,
Yeah.
you are an educated person wherever you are in whatever it is you know to do, a skill you've developed, apprenticeships, whatever. So we are all, every human being is educated wherever they are. Now, when you want to do something more is when you seek the additional information within the classroom and now online, on your phone, wherever you are. So I think we've expanded so much, but people don't recognize when you learn something today, you're building on your education. And then UWI helps you in that broader scheme to pinpoint it in the areas you want to really excel in for your business that you may already started. You want to expand, but there's some skills or knowledge you don't have. Or you want to be like our good friend sitting over there, a lawyer. And everybody wants to be a lawyer these days. I wonder why.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was out of style. I thought it was still.
Absolutely not.
I thought it was like barefoot pants.
Absolutely not. And barefoot pants still, they need to do that. No, but seriously, I think when people understand that, you know, the value of knowing is the beginning of your education. And then you build on it, you go to primary school and whatever. And I really love the saying, educate to elevate, but we really have to understand what that means. And I think as we get more into the global village mentality, we have to understand that when you speak that word educate, sometimes you make people feel like, oh, well, I never gone to school, so I'm not educated, but that's so not true. But you also have to recognize that I never gone to formal school, but whatever I have learned, I can do better if I go back into a formal structure. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, no.
So
It is important. And you know, there's just a premise I think sometimes that we have to adopt, which is every single person you meet is an expert in something that you're not.
in their own
know,
right.
In some, whatever experiences they've had in their life makes them an expert in something that you're not. So
Amen.
you can learn from them. But
Absolutely.
looking at the validation oftentimes, and that's what it is that people need. And also opening your mind up to new areas is where sometimes taking on additional courses, starting a new educational path can be very helpful. And I know I've met people time and time again who say, I want to go and study X, Y, Z. I want to learn more about this. I want to get my degree, even though I've been in the field in banking for 20 years. Have you seen a growing interest by Belizeans in pursuing the open campus?
Yes, absolutely. And I'll have Dwight say more on that since he's the one that supports the people online. So when he gets in there, I want him to talk about how that has expanded and the demand on his time, almost 24 hours to support people who have decided to go back to school. But yes, absolutely. I think that people sit back, they listen. The demands in the workplace alone for you to be better at what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you want to shift around either horizontally or vertically, you know that there's some extra that you need, and that's where the universities, whether it's UWI, UB, Galen, at that level will help you to get there. One of the niches that we have, which is important as well, is that not everybody wants to take a 2-year degree. But we have lots of opportunities where you can take courses within a degree. And I want to stress that this morning, because sometimes people don't have the money, they don't have the time, but you do not have to take an entire degree to move forward or just to, get back into the swing of things. You can register, we call it specially admitted students, and you can take one course from a degree or certificate program, and I don't think people understand that well enough. So we want to stress that today as well.
I like that option because some of it is fair too. Because some of the people, I would assume, that engage your institution are people who probably have been out of school for a significant period of time. They left high school or sixth form from a very long period of time, and they might be just overwhelmed to think, how will I fit back in a classroom?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
So it's a great way to test the waters.
Yeah. But in terms of, there are two things as well about what you're doing at UA, I assume, which is one is empowerment, empowering people to take control of their lives in a way that is that frees them up. And the second one is control. That you might not be able to, I might not be able to take my kids and my family, uproot them, stop my job, and go to Barbados or Trinidad or another campus, but I'm able to do it here. Could you talk to us about the flexibility that your programs offer?
Well,
That's
where I come in. It's really flexible. Most people these days, young to old, can use a tablet, a smartphone, and our applications are geared towards the tablets and things. If you have a laptop, fine. We also go across platforms, right? So if you have Android, Microsoft, or Apple, it works on all platforms. And if you can video chat, we use the same applications to video chat. To present our content, we use similar to a presentation, like a PowerPoint, but it's online. So you can be cooking and you can be in class.
So I don't need to physically go to Princess Margaret Drive,
Absolutely
to that beautiful campus.
For 10 years, you didn't have to do that. You're behind time.
And that's good, because people often feel that even if they are doing distance out, they have to be here in Belize City.
Yeah.
But if I'm in Dankriga, I can still be in the same program that someone is doing here in Belize City.
As long as you have internet access, you can be in class.
You can be at the beach. That's where I prefer to be.
Ah.
Where was this 10 years, 15, no, 20 years ago?
It's called evolution.
Yeah, and with the advent of the new internet speeds, our content is streamed, seamlessly. So BTL coming and the other ISP providers coming in with higher speeds make it even easier and more accessible to people. We have had a 150% increase in applications, and we did
for the last year.
for the last year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
And I'll jump
adults
in to say-
returning, or is it new students?
It's both, right? It's both.
Yes.
And Dwight has to support them, so he can give you an idea
Yeah.
of the distribution of
Right.
the age group.
And
But I wanted to, give me 1 second, Dwight, before I forget I'm younger than you. For the reason that Dwight just said, that you can access everywhere, but we know that there's some remote areas of our country where there's no internet. Henceforth, UWI and DigiBTL signed a memorandum of understanding last year, and the agreement is that we will promote our programs, they will support with the access. So you can be hopefully in San Roman,
That's nice.
Yeah.
but if you sign on as a student and that information is passed to Digi, they know that there's a student there. So it's the MiFi, and I'll shut up here because Dwight will talk more about the technological support that can give. And he lives in the River Valley, so he can speak to that as well. So I wanted to see that's an add-on that we've provided since last year. Hasn't exploded yet, but the possibilities are coming.
So I love what you're saying. Accessibility, we understand. You know, we can access technology just about everywhere in the country now. And fast technology means that you don't have to feel left behind or get frustrated.
Right.
But that's an incredible number that you just said, 100% increase.
And I'll tell you that
Yeah.
a big part of it, I put at Dwight's feet
Yeah.
because he's the guy that puts it out there, looked at the ads and so on.
Yeah.
So I'll have him talk
But
to you about
let me-
how we, and I don't want to either forget the other members of my team that go out there, we knock at every door, we go to every career fair, we create opportunities, we go into schools and so on. So we upped the ante over the past.
But let me just ask you this, because one of the
6
things that
months.
we hear so often too is that essentially a bachelor's degree is becoming the new high school diploma. That is an essential.
Absolutely.
It's not even, you're not perhaps prioritized because you have a bachelor's degree, but really that's kind of what is expected. Have you been hearing students come in and say this and recognize that if they want to get ahead in their career, this is step number one?
From my perspective, when I started in this position 11 or so years ago, God, it feels longer, and sometimes shorter. But the main, I would say that a big number of our students at that time were doing paralegal and business management and so on. And I've seen the growth of those students going automatically into their bachelor's. I've seen people coming back, teachers and other people from banking and so on, really pursuing their bachelor's, right? And master's programs too. So Dwight can tell you where he has seen the numbers grow because he has to support them, as I said, because all of our degree, certificate, diploma programs are online, but I'll come back to the other skills face-to-face ones in a minute. So Dwight, if you could also contribute where you've seen the growth. I've seen a tremendous one, as you said. People would have just come and do that associate, but immediately after they sign up for bachelor's, and then the word gets around. And so I've seen the growth from my perspective.
What age demographic are we talking about here, Dwight? Are we high
we're
schoolers?
talking from teenage up to teenage, right? It's a broad demographic. But we've seen, we have doctorate programs and
Online.
masters, and the master's programs. Those have had tremendous outreach now because we never used to have like maybe 2 or 3 persons doing a master's degree over the 8 years I've been there. And now you could meet like 2 or 3 persons for the day that's doing a master's program. And usually this time of the year, I see a lot of students because we have registration, we have that time of year that everybody comes to the campus. Maybe they have an issue and it needs to be resolved. That's when I'll see most people. From then until exams, nobody.
Nothing, What's the feedback you get from students? Because I think for a long time people were scared of online classes because we are used to the traditional chalk and talk. Someone like me, for example, I have to converse and that's how I digest or process the information. But the online realm has evolved so much now. What's the feedback when somebody enters with hesitation and then they have the experience?
We still get that feedback, and it will always be there. What we try to do is kind of hold their hands. We have a session which I also attend called Work-Life Balance as well. So it's not only the fear of the online, but it's how do I adjust to that while keeping my family commitments, my work commitments. And that fear is always there. And that's where, again, Dwight plays a role in helping them. Even to register is a challenge. We get students who have never even touched a computer in their entire lives. We still have those. And so my staff, Dwight, and especially Mrs. Lisa Rock, who is our student guru, and they just help them almost one-on-one because that's what you have to do.
There's been some continuity. You've been there 8 years. You've been there over 10 years. And so over the years, you've been tweaking. Is there a added degree of difficulty in the online process? Because if somebody is, let's say like Marlene was referencing just now, let's say I might be cautious because I wonder if I might get stuck. I might be in my kitchen cooking, and the lecturer says something that I really didn't get. Are there any benefits to me being online? Can I rewind, or is there access to a tutor? What support mechanisms are there for the online program?
All
of, I was just going to say, all of the above. Seriously.
You have a recording, right? When the presentation is happening, you have a recording. As a couple minutes after that is finished, you get an email, says you have a recording. You can go over that whole recording
and watch
anytime you want.
Even if you were there, you can go back and watch it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Where was this
and
10
you
years
watch
ago?
it. It's not just a recording audio, it's visual also.
Yeah.
Right? You have our online support that is there 24 hours. We have video chat with your peers.
Yeah.
You can video chat maybe through WhatsApp or through Skype. All mediums are at your disposal. You can email your tutor, you can email your course coordinator, and right up the line.
All right, so we've talked a lot about how, but we got to talk about what's offered. So people are out there thinking, listen, I need a new skill to take on another job. Or I'm just not advancing in my career at the bank, wherever I'm working. And I need to get myself qualified so that people will consider me for a promotion. What's available and what do you
again,
suggest?
depending on your need and desire, you could take a full 1-year certificate, diploma program, a year or 18 months depending on the program you select.
Yeah.
You can do a 2-year degree. You can go again from associate, bachelor's, master's,
Now to
doctorate,
PhD.
all the way up. We don't have a big gamut in terms of the doctorate, but we keep adding, you know, to these programs. And again, as Kevin had said before, the online allows you to stay in your country, so it's cheaper, right? And you do not have to disrupt your family life or your work life. So that's the best package deal for you right now. Okay.
All right, so let's talk about people who are going for the long haul. I'm finally going to go back to school. What are your offerings at UWI Open Campus Belize for undergrad?
Okay. Undergrad, again, you have your bachelor's, you have your, well, let me talk about what's on the screen for a minute. So these are online continuing.
These aren't degrees. These aren't degree programs.
These are online continuing and professional education. So they are courses that you can take in skilled areas, but do it online. We also offer face-to-face. We still and will always offer face-to-face, but the advantage of the online CPEs is that you get units that you can then capitalize on to go into the regular degree programs. So these are what we would call adult and continuing education, if you want. If that's
What's the duration of one of these?
There's some of them are a few weeks, some of them are maybe even a year. It depends on the program that you take. So maybe a few weeks, couple months, whatever. Each depending on the content, right? But as you can see, there's a whole list of them.
So this diversifies what you were able to offer just face to face.
Oh yes,
These are some really new
over
courses
the last
there.
year or so. We've put these online. And the good thing about this, I want to say, everything is a numbers game. So let's say we're trying to run one of these skills training in Belize. We only get 5 people. It's not viable for us because we have to do overheads, pay a facilitator. When we participate online, you can have 5 people from Belize, 2 from Dominica, 10 from Trinidad, and it will run.
Wow.
So that's a big advantage of putting these online.
What's the average cost of one of these programs?
Dwight, you know that one? My guru
Just
is
average.
here. But I would say, again, it varies because of the content. Our regular programs are 375, the ones we run locally. And I think they make it comparative around the region because you want people to be able to afford it. So I didn't want to pin it down, but I would say that gives you an idea of the kind of money that people would spend.
But it's a certificate. You get a University of West Indies certificate.
Any program you take with our university, it's a 1-day seminar, a 1-day workshop. You walk away with a UA certificate. What it says, though, will tell you what it is that you did. So you could be participation. If there's something with an assessment, it's a completion, and so on. So that's the only difference, but the UA logo is right on top of it.
What I like about that is when I do the mathematics of it. If you don't have to spend on taxi.
Nope.
You don't have to spend on babysitter.
Nope.
You don't have to spend on new clothes.
Nope, that's all. Or wear out the old clothes you have.
Old clothes. So it actually is much less than whatever you're going to pay for it in terms of cost benefit.
But I think the most important things, Kevin, is that disruption to family life and work and the work. Not everybody can quit a job and just go study, you know.
But
your
the family has to chip in.
CPE courses are so great for people who are looking to moonlight. I have to say that, or looking to advance their career. So I mean, you're looking at learning some of the critical skills: business writing and communication, brand management, care for the elderly if you're a caretaker, early childhood, entrepreneurship and small business management.
And all we need with the online CP is to have people around the region. And you would imagine that there must be other people interested in the program. But even around the region, you still have to have some numbers to make it viable. But the thing is, it's available, right? And then I want to, before, I know we're time, but the local programs as well continue to run, again, based on the numbers. For example, we always talk about things like public speaking, where we say as a nation we need it, and people will show interest, but they don't come in and apply. And if we have 5 people, it's not viable. So I want to encourage people, there are things, skills that we need in this country that we're really not pursuing, and the opportunity exists. All you have to do is call us, 223-0484. You go online, there's Facebook, there's a page on the Open Campus website that has the Belize flag, and you click on it and you'll get all the information that's available to you locally as well.
I see a Canadian emblem on one of the posters. Is there...
The CPE.
Yes, on CPE. Is there any collaboration, or what is the relationship?
There is a relationship right now with the Canadians and the university where they have been funding some initiatives in terms of building up the Caribbean. And so that's why it's probably there.
So we're regional and international.
We've always been international, Kevin. You want to see the UK flag there as well? And now it's with the online, you could be in, I'm serious, you could be in Asia or Africa, as long as you have a smartphone, a tablet, and a laptop. You're in.
You can travel for work and be in Bangladesh. And
Let's talk about what it costs, because what if I don't think I'd be able to afford a course, but I really want to try? What are the payment options? How expensive is it?
Okay. I'll say we are competitive, right? But you cannot make comparisons without explaining to people that it's like when you buy a brand name sneaker or clothing, you get what you pay for, unless it's the fakey ones, right? But my point is, we know that the University of the West Indies, and even within the last year, has been ranked among the top 5% universities in the world. That's not to snuff at. And so if you want a degree that's worth what you're paying for, you come to UWI, so we're not cheap. As I said, the local programs, it's $375 Belize for participation in a workshop or seminar. For our degree programs, it's 700 more or less Belize per course.
Per course.
Okay. And then there's a 1 year, we call it activity fee or administrative fee. It's a one time, so you can take your 2 semesters and summer, but you pay $400, call it about $500, which covers administrative costs. Again, to make it easier for people, we have a payment plan that I have to approve, and I have never disapproved any. Screens our applicants. She's familiar with their situation, and we have them paid over a semester, but payments have to be made, final payments, before exams. So you have 3 months to pay as you can. We make it extremely affordable. Well, again, very few people get turned down by you, because even for those not so young folks who have not been in a classroom for a long time and so on, we have what we call our mature clause. And so, which means that you can be from the other age where there were no CXCs, so you cannot meet that requirement. You have been out of school for a long time and so on. And it has always been there. It's never been a hidden secret, but it's never been explored or exploded. So I want to say that as well. I dropped out of school and didn't go back until 23 years later. And so, and I finished my education in the US, but they also have what they call prior learning experience. And UA has prior learning PLE, prior learning assessment.
Yeah.
And so you're taught even, there's a course that teaches you how to put together your portfolio where you get validated for your experience.
Nice.
And so you can go that route as well, because you really have to prove. I had to do that myself in the US, where you had to put together proof that I know the subject well, you know, but the opportunities are endless. There's no excuse. You can pay a little bit at a time, and you just have to apply yourself. The only thing I say to people, you don't waste money and you don't waste time. If you're pursuing one course, if you're doing a workshop, give it your all.
Yeah.
Leave with something.
So how can people get information on how to sign up?
Yeah.
Again, call us at 223-0484, and you can go on our website. So I'll have Dwight talk about
Our website is open.uwi.edu. Pretty easy. When you get there, there's a apply button. You click the apply button and you start the process. There's one application per semester. So at the end of the application period, and you haven't finished that application, you'll have to go and start a new application that will be taken off.
So even if because the CPEs, I think you refer to them, those, let's say I take one for 3 weeks, and then I want to do another one for, so it's only one application?
Yeah.
I have to say, okay, I'm going to do 3 courses at the same time?
Yeah, that will start the next semester.
Oh, okay.
So you can put the number of courses that you want on that one application. I want to say though, sometimes people get a little ambitious and they're doing a degree course and they want to do 5. No, we find that they disadvantage themselves. So the advice they get from us, and then we get a little strict with that. We encourage 3 maximum. Sometimes people take off from their jobs though, and they can. It's like you're on a campus.
Yeah.
So if you're a full timer, in that sense, then you could manage that. But we try to discourage people. We want them to do the best they can do.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to have somebody who has a full-time job, a family, taking 5 courses.
So can I actually come in and sit with academic advisor or somebody who would be able to tell me?
Mrs. Rock is always available. And she is like 24/7 myself. Students text her, WhatsApp her, you know, so people are always in touch with us.
And for the longer term courses, is there a cycle? Because I know, like when I was applying way back before King Hatchet was a hammer, you had to put all your documents together, your diplomas and everything, and you had to apply. Is there a time frame?
Yes, and that's always posted online.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So some of these courses people can still get in. They just have to apply.
Yes, and the ones you can't get in, you just wait. You don't give up.
Cycle.
Please, you don't give up.
Excellent.
And applying early is encouraged.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to go through the entire list, but you can get it at the UE website and on your Facebook page, I believe.
Absolutely, yep.
And so you can see what fits for you. It may just be the time that you learn a new skill, make yourself more viable for other opportunities within your workplace, outside your workplace, but do it for you, right? So thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to go ahead and take that final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap-up, so stay tuned.